Hey everybody, I'm Rousseau, and I do a little work here and there. You're back in the Ready Ward. Today we're looking at how to build a one-piece mold using silicone caulking and cornstarch. This is what I'm going to be making a mold of. It's made of cardstock. I'll cover how to build something like this in Papercraft Week, which is coming up pretty soon. You can see it's pretty standard. It's flat on the back. Not much else to it, but some shallow detail, so we're going to see if we can't replicate that. Later on, I'm going to make a video on two-part molds where I'm going to make a mold for this Carl Sagan head, and we're going to make some broken statue type terrain from that. You know, maybe it was from a 50-foot tall something or other. But that is a different topic for a different day. What you're going to need: 100% silicone. I got this at Dollar General. It was $3.25 before tax. What's that? Oh, good for 50 years. So hopefully you don't need to use your mold longer than that. Next thing is cornstarch, 100% pure, 1 pound, $1 at the Dollar General. Other than that, you could use some vegetable oil. This is soybean oil. I guess you could use linseed oil if you have some of that for oil painting. But if you need to thin it down a bit, you can use that, just not too much. Also, you're going to need a caulking gun. This one has a little thing for clearing out the end of the tube, and a spout cutter, which you may or may not use. You're going to need something to stir with. I'm going to use the end of this foam brush, and something to mix it in. How about a dirty measuring cup? Now, since the cornstarch is going to be messy, I'm going to put down a little bit of baker's parchment. I guess you could use wax paper, any number of things. Get our piece down here. Now, out of sight, out of mind. We want to keep it in mind. Here I've put some cornstarch in the bottom of the cup, and I'm just going to squirt in the silicone caulking until I have as much, if not a little bit more. Now it's going to be a little tough to mix it together, but just mash it against the sides and keep mixing it around until you can't get it to soak any more up. And after that, you will have to knead it by hand. So we're going to get some cornstarch down on the parchment paper. Take the piece, put it in the cornstarch, and then knock out as much of it as you can. Maybe blow it off a little bit, hit it with a brush. And that's just to keep it from sticking. And the consistency that you're looking for with this stuff is like a soft taffy. It'll be pretty pliable. Also of note at this point, you probably want to put a little bit of acrylic paint into this. It'll help it activate a little bit sooner, but it'll also let you know when you've mixed it properly, because you're going to notice pretty soon this whole video is just white on white on white for a while. And once you have it to a good consistency, you're going to want to take your piece, you're going to roll it into a circle, like you're making a tiny pizza, and mush the piece into it. I'm just trying to keep 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Now, something this small, you might be able to get away with making it a little bit thinner, but somewhere around there. And I'm going to stamp a little shape in the back. If I needed to build a mother mold around this, that would definitely help it to sit in the right place. And zooming through time, you can see this is what it looks like when it's set. It's pretty firm. And with a little bit of prying, we can get the original out. Looks like there was no damage, and it looks like the detail was pretty well preserved. So let's get rid of this parchment paper and cornstarch and look at what we got. Here's our mold. Pretty good, pretty nice. And I'm going to put milliput into the mold. Now you're going to see what I'm talking about. Move from white to this. And here I make the mistake of flipping it over on the counter to try to get the other side flat, and wouldn't you know it, it stuck pretty well. But that gives us an opportunity to peel the mold off really quick. And hey, look at that! It looks like the detail was pretty well preserved, but I'm going to go ahead and knead this up a little bit more and push it back into the mold. So, there you have it. Just let it sit for a while. You can pull it out before it's completely cured if you want an easier time carving details into it. Alright, and let's pop this guy out. And hey, that is pretty good. Here it is next to the original. You can see, yeah, it's a little bit too thick, but that'll be easy enough to either sand or shave off. Here it is at its final thickness, and I'm going to use this linoleum cutter first with the blade attachment to carve little lines in. This is where I want there to be cracks, and then I'm going to use this other tip. It's a little V-shaped thing, and I'm going to use that to actually cut the cracks out. You can use the different tips that come with the linoleum cutter to make all sorts of different effects, but you know, that would take a while. So here it is with all of the damage that I'm going to put on it. In addition to the linoleum cutter, I also used a tiny drill bit to put little bullet holes and places knocked out of it. And this is pretty good. So how about we see how it takes a little bit of paint. And here it is with that paint, but not just paint. You can also see I put a little grass in one of the cracks. There's a bunch of blood all over the place, a little handprint. And I'm not going to spill the beans right away, but I will say this is for a future project here at Russo Works. We're not just about tutorials. We're going to do some little animations and other things. And, believe it or not, this guy is a Blood Bowl player. Of course, there are lots of possibilities, but that's all the time we have today. And as always, rate, comment, and subscribe if you're so inclined. We've got videos coming up covering two-part molds and how to make your own modeling substrate from household supplies. So stay tuned. I'll see you back here next time. Russo out.